Your digital scale showed -200 grams this morning. The sun is blazing. Fields of wildflowers in the Rocky Mountains or on the Scottish Highlands look straight out of a fairy tale. And the air smells of nectar so strongly you could cut it with a knife. But your scale is lying, right? Wrong. The scale is telling the harsh truth your instincts refuse to accept. Your profit is literally evaporating into the thin air. Literally. In my 30 years auditing commercial beekeeping operations, I've seen dozens of beekeepers go bankrupt because they ignored one number on their GPS: altitude. Elevation isn't just a terrain metric, it's the invisible thief that alters the laws of physics, biology, and economics inside your hive. At altitude, every bee stops being a worker and becomes a high-maintenance machine, burning your potential honey just to stay in the air. Today, we'll dissect why every meter of ascent costs you dollars and how to stop this capital drain before your season becomes just an expensive hobby. Bee biology at altitude, aerodynamics, and the revolving door effect. When beekeeping in extreme locations like the Rocky Mountains in the USA, Alberta in Canada, or the harsh Scottish Highlands, we face unforgiving physics. Above 1,000 meters, the air is thinner. For us, it means harder breathing, but for a bee, it means a loss of lift. 1. Fuel consumption and wing beat frequency. At low elevation, sea level, a bee uses optimal air density to generate lift. As you climb, thinner air offers less resistance but drastically less lift. To stay airborne, especially when returning with a full nectar load or pollen, the foraging bee must increase its wing beat frequency. While at lowlands, a bee beats its wings around 230 times per second. At 1,500 meters, that number must increase significantly. This effort requires enormous metabolic energy. Think of it as driving a fully loaded truck uphill in first gear with the pedal to the metal. Your bee consumes up to 35% more fuel, honey, per kilometer of flight than her sister in the valley. That honey never reaches your hive. It's burned in the bee's flight muscles before she ever makes it back to the entrance. 2. The revolving door effect and biological amortization. This is a key concept many beekeepers overlook. Due to increased physical exertion and hypoxia, low oxygen, bees at altitude age faster. Oxidative stress is relentless. If a lowland bee lives 35 days during the main nectar flow, on the mountain, her working life may drop to 25 to 28 days. As a consultant, I observe this as biological amortization. Shorter lifespans of worker bees force the queen to lay more eggs to maintain critical colony mass. This creates the revolving door effect. The queen depletes her ovarian reserves up to 20% faster than under optimal conditions. You're effectively spending the genetic potential of your queen just to compensate for bees burned out on high-altitude labor. This isn't just a biological problem, it's a direct hit to your ROI. 3. Thermoregulation, the energetic cost of cold nights. At high elevations, temperature swings are extreme. Even when daytime temperatures are ideal for foraging, night temperatures in Alberta or Scotland can drop near freezing in July. Bees must maintain brood temperature at a stable 95 degrees Fahrenheit. On the mountain, heat loss through hive walls accelerates due to wind and thinner air, which insulates poorly. Bees are forced to consume massive amounts of honey just to vibrate their muscles and heat the brood. You're literally burning your most valuable product to maintain an incubator. Phenological gap, when UV turns nectar to dust. Beekeepers often make the mistake of following the calendar instead of phenology. At altitude, calendar beekeeping is a sure path to debt. The difference between 200 meters and 1,200 meters isn't just temperature, it's forage quality. UV radiation and plant physiology. Intense UV at high elevations changes nectar chemistry. Plants like fireweed in Canada or heather in Scotland respond to high radiation stress. While higher UV can stimulate higher sugar concentration in nectar, it simultaneously accelerates moisture evaporation from flowers. The result? Nectar becomes so thick bees expend extra time and energy to ingest it, or the flower stops producing honey entirely because the nectar chamber is cooked by the sun. Central Call to Action, CTA. If this analysis helps you understand where your honey is really going, it's time to stop beekeeping by luck and start beekeeping by the numbers. Follow this channel as we break down bee biology to protect your bank account. Comment below with the exact altitude of your apiary. We'll do a rough calculation of your altitude tax in the replies. Economic calculation. Altitude tax. $30,000. Let's talk money. This is what keeps your operation alive. In commercial beekeeping, we don't count jars, we count pounds per unit labor. Take a 100 hive apiary in Colorado at 1,600 meters. Compared to a Mississippi Valley apiary, your bees start at a deficit. Metabolic cost. Due to longer winters and colder springs, each high-altitude colony consumes an average of 33 pounds, 15 kilograms, more honey just to maintain basic functions and spring buildup. Mathematical reality. 100 hives times 33 pounds equals 3,300 pounds, 1,500 kilograms of honey. Opportunity cost. If that mountain honey, premium quality, sells for $20 per kilogram, realistic for top monofloral honey like sage or heather, your loss is $30,000 per year. That's $30,000 your bees had to eat to survive the conditions you placed them in. And we haven't included the cost of supplemental feeding syrup or patties, nor labor for more frequent hive checks due to high altitude needs. At altitude, you're not beekeeping with surplus, you're beekeeping with margin. Optimization strategies. How to beat altitude. As a consultant, I don't advise abandoning mountains. Mountain honey is the most prized in the world. I advise changing your technology. 1. Genetics choice. Buckfast versus Carnica. Many beekeepers in the UK and USA favor Buckfast for its incredible productivity. However, at high elevations, Buckfast can be your enemy. It maintains large broods even when forage stops, consuming stores alarmingly fast. For altitude, my choice is always Carniolan, Apis mellifera carnica, or Caucasian bees. They have a built-in economic mode. When temperatures drop or forage ends, they immediately reduce brood and conserve honey. Their ability to survive long winters in minimal stores is key to your profit. 2. Hive insulation, spring insulation strategy. At altitude, 20mm wood is not enough. Invest in hives with high R values. Using polyurethane hives or serious roof and wall insulation in spring can cut honey consumption for thermoregulation by 20 to 30%. That's the 33 pounds, 15 kilograms we want back in your hive. 3. Selective migration, high altitude chasing. Professionals in Canada don't keep bees at 1,500 meters year-round. They raise colonies in lowlands where pollen is available early and air is dense, then move them to altitude only for peak fireweed bloom. Once the bloom ends, bees return down. That way, altitude is used only for profit collection, not resource burning. 4. Reduce foraging radius. If a lowland bee is efficient within a 3-kilometer radius, at altitude, reduce it to 1 to 1.5 kilometers. Place the apiary in the heart of the forage. Every extra meter of flight at altitude is a direct cost on your ledger. The difference between a surviving beekeeper and a market-dominating one is understanding microlocation. Altitude isn't a barrier, it's a parameter requiring a different equation. If you understand biological amortization and the thin air tax, you can adapt technology and turn harsh conditions into the world's most valuable honey. Knowledge is the only tool with no weight that delivers maximum yield. Apply these strategies, provide insulation, adjust genetics, your scale will thank you next season. Next episode, we dive into an even more invisible problem, the secret of humidity. Why can't your honey hit moisture targets even when forage is done? We reveal how humidity directly affects enzyme composition and why wet honey can ruin your reputation faster than a bad year. Beekeep smart, beekeep profitable, safely and healthily.